Hello, and welcome back to this episode covering the features introduced in SAS Viya 2024.03. We have new features inside of SAS Model Studio to help you understand the predictions of your models better. We also have a new tagging feature inside of SAS Intelligent Decisioning to help you understand your content more easily, and we will dig into the new update of SAS Enterprise Guide 8.4. Let's dive in. We start things off this time in SAS Intelligent Decisioning, where if you open up the main menu of it, Intelligent Decisioning, you can see we have a new menu entry under the Global Elements section called Tag Management. If we minimize the menu, you can see it also has these nice tags as an icon, so you directly see what it is. In here, you can see all the different tags that are available within your environment. You can create new tags to then be used within all the decision elements. And you can, of course, add descriptions to it, and you can see how many items are currently using that specific tag. Of course, you can also get a report generated for you that explains to you what elements are actually using it. You get all of the information in one nice place that you can then version into your documentation, for example. And how do you tag these assets? Well, let's go to a rule set. And let's select this second rule set and go to the versions tab. And here you see the version tags. You can add more. You don't only get to use one, you can add many in here. And if you have that capability enabled for your user, you can also create new tags directly from here. So let's say we create a new Hello World tag, and then we close this. This automatically adds it to the object. And then we see our Hello World tag in here, and we can, if we refresh, we see the updated item information and what's available in here. So that's a great tool for you to more easily navigate and manage your content throughout the decisions system. Let's head over to Model Studio by going to the Build Models entry. And here I've created a simple pipeline with two model nodes, one being the random forest node and the other being the gradient boosting node. Now, I didn't do anything special with those specific models, but rather the new feature is available in the score data node. You can find that one by going to the node and say add a child node, miscellaneous, and then score data, or of course use the node menu. In the score data, you get a new entry called calculate TreeSHAP values. I have selected this, and let's take a look at its output by going to the results of the node. And then we can first find this new method down here in the score code called set option TreeSHAP 1 being true. And you can view, of course, the data of this. Here we see our scored data set, of course, and if we scroll to the right, we will find these additional columns in here, which are called TreeSHAP value of a certain variable. And then you can, of course, also use this data in tools like Visual Analytics or just save it into your data store. And this can help you explain why this prediction was made for a specific row. So talking about local interpretability here, and the advantage of using this score data node and the calculate TreeSHAP values over the local interpretability feature that you can select directly on the model is that you can score it against a whole data set. So here it's got only 100 rows, but of course you can do this with any type of data set. Now, to introduce you to the new feature added with SAS Enterprise Guide 8.4 and how it relates to SAS Viya, I'm going to hand things over to Wilbram, who is the product manager for Enterprise Guide. Take it away, Wilbram.
We're here in SAS Enterprise Guide 8.4 and have opened a project where some parts run on a local SAS9 server and some parts run on a remote SAS9 server. We want to have this project run on SAS Viya 4. So we will first define a connection to our SAS Viya 4 server and then modify the project so it takes advantage of that connection. All the data we use in this project is accessible from Viya 4. Using the Connections panel, we will define our connection to our Viya 4 server. So we're adding a new one, specify a name, specify where the server lives, and in Viya 4 you do that using a URL, and then we'll save it. We can now start using this server. So we'll start with the first node in the program, and it's currently pointing to a remote Windows server, and we'll specify that we want to use that Viya 4 server instead. We'll clear this quickly, and then we run this selected node. It has created the table on the Viya 4 compute server. So that's why you see a new table icon here. So what I need to do now is specify on this random sample task that it should take its input from this new table and not the table that was on a different server. I will delete this one. And then again, we'll run this task, which produces output. Creates a new table, and same as before, we'll specify that this correlations task should use the table on the Viya 4 server. So now the first part of our flow is ready to run on Viya 4. We could continue that for other nodes in the project, but if you have a lot of nodes, that is a better way to do this with just a few mouse clicks. So we're going to Tools, Project Maintenance. We'll tell it to ignore all the changes that we've made. We'll start from scratch, so don't save it. And it shows us which servers are used in this Enterprise Guide project. So we're going to replace our local server with a Viya 4 demo server, and the same thing for that remote workspace server. Also use our Viya demo server. And that's all we need to do. Save this. And now we can run this project, which will run completely on Viya 4. It has finished processing, has created all the tables, and just like you used to in the past, you can simply double click on the table and see the contents of that table. But this time the table is retrieved from a Viya 4 compute server. So we have first selected individual nodes in the project and changed the server association, allowing it to test small parts of the flow. Then we use the project maintenance tool to change servers across all nodes in an Enterprise Guide project and point it to a Viya 4 server. I will now show you a simple flow that takes advantage of one of the new capabilities in Viya 4, in this case Proc Python, which allows you to embed Python processing in your Enterprise Guide project. Proc Python allows you to embed Python-based logic in your SAS code. You can load SAS tables into a pandas data frame, then apply Python logic, and have the results stored in a SAS table again. In this specific case, we simply use a Python library to create plots. Let's run it. And the graph is shown in the SAS results window inside Enterprise Guide. This concludes this quick demo showing you how to modify your existing Enterprise Guide projects to run on SAS Viya 4 servers, and an example of how to take advantage of some of the new capabilities in Viya 4.
Thank you for that great overview of the new capabilities added within SAS Enterprise Guide and how it can help you on your journey to more easily move from SAS 9.4 to SAS Viya. Now I hope you enjoyed the video by Wilbraham explaining the features, but if you want to read it in a text form, he also created a great SAS communities post for you to check out and understand everything in detail, follow along with it on your own time. The second article I want to highlight is on the full S-timer SAS option, which you can activate to better understand how performant your code is and where you could maybe optimize it in certain paths. And we are rounding things out on the article section with data-aware scheduling with Airflow, or how to specify data dependencies in your DAX. We have talked about the Airflow custom steps in the past, and this is an additional article that helps you to understand some of the concepts behind Airflow and how to improve your own scheduling. Talking of custom steps, let's talk of the new custom steps that have been added in the last month. First up, we have loop deployed object. This custom step allows you to execute over a deployed flow or SAS program in parallel and multiple times, being awesome when you want to iterate over things, adding different macro variables to it, stuff like this. Speaking of looping, we also have the loop flow custom step, which specifically allows you to interactively execute another flow from a flow in a looping fashion, also enabling you to run it in parallel or in concurrent sessions. So this is an awesome feature to build on top of things like the loop end concept that was available in SAS Data Integration Studio. And rounding things out is a new or an improved version of the OCR Azure AI Document Intelligence with a lot of additional capabilities, performance enhancement, and UI upgrades. Do check it out if you use the previous version, it's a huge jump. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you next month.